Hi, and welcome to Expat Chat. A few months ago, I had this crazy idea that I was going to talk to and ask questions to other expats who happen to live in Cabo like me. And I had this idea that their stories would just be so interesting and would help me and other people understand a little bit more about what brings a person to Cabo. And I have been loving this series so much. I hope that you will subscribe to the series. And if you know of anybody who is an expat who lives here in Cabo who has an interesting story, please reach out to me in the comments below. I would love to interview them. This one's a little bit different, and I have to say I'm super excited about introducing this gentleman to you. I know I say that every week because I have so many amazing people who I've been able to interview. This interview is with a fascinating gentleman named Jim Tolbert. And as soon as I started talking to Jim, we began just chatting, and I went ahead and set the camera up thinking that I would get a break and introduce and set up the video. That never happened. I was so into everything he was saying, and I was so captured by his stories and his charming and amazing personality that I never really got to introduce anything. So my video just kind of jumps right in to the conversation, and we talked for, I don't know, hours. So I've tried to pare it down as much as I possibly could. I think I'm going to break it into two videos. The first one is going to be about hurricanes in Cabo and events that he has lived through here in Cabo. And I think the second one is more general, what brought him to Cabo and what he does with the animals here and things like that. So, and his dream and his goal and his vision for the future of Cabo. So I'm so excited. I apologize that there's no introduction, there's no exit. It's just kind of jump in and let's go. But I hope you'll hang in there and watch the video. We talked until my phone basically almost died. Honestly, I could go back and sit and talk to Jim for like hours. I could go every week and talk to Jim, and I am so grateful that he shared his time with us. So I hope you enjoy the videos. They're a little bit long. And they're not kind of choppy, but one of the best experiences of my life to get to sit and talk to Jim, or Jaime, as everyone here calls him. Thanks so much for watching, and let's jump in.
So if you would have asked me 10 years ago if I was interested in buying a house in
Sinaloa,
for what I have told you, what are you, out of your mind?
Yeah.
Well,
it is a beautiful area, though.
it's beautiful there, and Judy and Denny, which had originally started Buzzards.
Okay.
And I don't know if you met Paul, the current owner. He's just
No.
sold it. Anyway, it was the only place, it's only 4 miles up the road.
Okay.
It was the only place right in front of Laguna Hills
Yes.
property there. I had a lot in Laguna Hills I sold a couple of years ago. If I figured out gated communities are not for me.
You like the open space?
Yeah. I bought it years and years ago and figured, oh, it's a good investment anyway. I thought about building, and I went, I don't want to.
Did you double your money on that lot?
I did fine.
Yeah. I'm sure you did.
I have done fine on everything I bought here. My original Choya property, I paid $12,000 for it, and there was nothing there but an old lime tree and an old mango tree and barbed wire, and that was it. So I built everything over the years, and was really happy with that. So I went anyway. Judy and Denny, about 10 years ago, they sold the restaurant, Buzzards, and they moved to the mainland, and this is a small village where they ended up because they knew somebody there. And a few years ago, we were going to be on the mainland for some reason, and I said, well, we should go see Judy and Denny, because we had been pretty close friends. Because again, they started their business and moved here right about the same time we did, like I was talking earlier. You know, so there's a group of us who sort of arrived here at the same time, in love with the place, but we didn't really, you know, we were sort of clueless. Well, they got out of here, moved to Teacapon. We went and visited, and just so happened that there was a house by theirs, just down the street, a little dirt road actually. And their friends of ours were renting it. And they said, this is for sale, you should buy it. I'm going, why are you telling me I should buy the property? And we were there a few more days and my wife said, we should buy it, I really like it here. It reminded us of what Playa was like 30 to 35 years ago.
Yeah.
We have no bank, no ATM, no grocery store, just a fruteria. We have a bakery that's been there since 1940 something. That's still in business. We do have an OXXO now.
Oh, big time.
We're big time.
Yeah.
The population is about 4,000 people.
Wow.
And there's a handful of expats there. And curiously, a bunch of them are from the Midwest. I guess in the 70s they marketed, they had flights coming out of Minneapolis or something, some kind of PR promotion, tourist promotion with Mazatlan area, because all the gringos, that's where they're from.
Yeah.
And most of them knew one another up there, and then one bought property and then the others followed. And what's happening there is they're dying off and the kids are inheriting and either taking over or selling. So actually we're seeing a little bit of a boom there with real estate, which is really surprising because there's nothing to do there.
No. It sounds like you like to go to places like Playita, for example, where like there's kind of nothing there, and you like to go in and plant your roots and
see what happens.
Yeah. Kind of sounds like your theme story.
Yeah. So we really liked it over there, and then COVID came along and we weren't able to get over there for 2 years.
Okay.
It was like So our renters left. They were Canadians and they had driven down. They had to drive out, and the U.S. was threatening to close the border to Canadians crossing through to get back to Canada. Yeah. And they freaked and took off. And I said, "Hey, you just paid the rent." They said, "Doesn't matter, get it done." So the house is sitting empty for 2 years. Great thing was I inherited a great caretaker over there who I love. And I'll tell you, after O'Neill, my wife and I set out on what was left of our house because our yard looked like this before, and we had palapas all gone, 3 of them, no shade, palm trees like this, broken, not a leaf, everything just bare, nothing green at all. And it was 100 degrees, and we're struggling to keep gas in the generator. And we were like, what are we going to do? And I told my wife, I said, we can live anywhere in the world we want to.
Right, we can go.
Yeah, so if we want to just say this chapter is over, we just roll it up and we think about somewhere else, then we can do that. And we thought on it some more, and we both just came to the conclusion that we did not know anywhere we could live that we would have had the kind of support we got from our community in La Cholla, from neighbors helping one another. And the Mexican government effort was really fantastic.
Yeah.
There was no Katrina here.
Right, yeah, they were here helping. I didn't live here at the time, but I remember seeing pictures of that. They were out in the streets sweeping and clearing the roads
the
and
Cefe
helping.
crews that came over, they brought their trucks over on the ferries and everything, and you'd see the states they're from on the door, and the guys were going through our neighborhood, and everybody's out clapping and tossing them drinks and food and stuff.
Wow.
And they're all smiling, because they felt, they knew that we really appreciated the help.
You did.
And the guy and the army was here passing out food packages and stuff.
And water.
And water, exactly. I had some army lady, and I went down to take pictures of the food giveaway was right in front of our house. I went down to take pictures and document it, and I had this. She kept trying to give me a case of water. I said, no, okay.
I'm just here taking pictures.
Why are you talking? She's like,
please take this water.
Okay. I come back with a case of water. I said, it was forced upon me.
Yes.
And then they gave us some food packages, and we took out a few things, and the rest, we gave away to our other neighbors. but the government response for all the hurricanes, the first big one we were here was, I guess, in 2001, Juliet,
Okay.
and
What was that category?
that was a 4.
Okay. Like Odile.
Yeah, and we were actually not here. We happened to be in Costa Rica. It was right after 9/11,
Okay.
but we're sitting in a bar, and we're watching the news, and I see this formation happening down here in the Gulf of Tehuantepec, where all our stuff forms. And I said to my wife, I said, we're gonna get hit by that hurricane. So we gotta get out. So we took off, cut the trip short, got to Mexico City. By the time we got to Mexico City, it had already hit here. The tower was down at the airport. The airport was closed. We were stuck 5 days in Mexico City. We couldn't get over here. And so what we did was we hired a driver. We went to the pyramids. We went to the floating garden. We just became tourists there.
Yeah.
I finally ran into a guy I knew who had a sat phone in the hotel, and he was a Argentinian guy. Him and his son had a nursery here, so I ran into him in the hotel. I said, "Oh, you're here?" Yeah. He said, "We can't go home." I said, "You're right." And he said, "But I've got the sat phone. I'm going to call Gary, his son." And I said, "Oh yeah." So finally we had somebody talking to somebody.
Yes.
Here. We got to the airport. We finally could fly in. And a friend of mine, Raul, is a taxi guy. I see him at the airport. He says, Jaime, you can't get to your house. The river's, like that.
Oof.
So we got a taxi. And we went downtown, went to the Posada Terra Nova Hotel, old-time hotel. And I know Juan, the owner. And we got a room. And I said, he said, the rooms aren't ready. And I said, we're going to need one until we figure out what to do about getting to our house. So we left our luggage there, and we walked down to the river, right there where the sewage plant is. And sure enough, it was like waist high. But I saw people that I knew crossing the river. And I told Judy, my wife, I said, go back to the hotel and check in. I'm going to cross the river. And she said, no, you're not going. She said, not without me. So we talked about it, and she said, well, we'll both go. And we had a dog in the kennel with the vet, Felipe. And she said, we better go get our dog. So we got the dog, and we crossed the river. And the water, I had to have the dog on the leash all the time because she was swimming, and she would have floated away. And the water was like waist high. But we did. And it was, people, everybody's holding hands and everything, and we made it out to our house. I left some friends in charge that lived in the neighborhood. Said, if there's a problem, use the generator. Of course, they used the generator. There was no gas, so we had, they ran out of gas, which we would have also. No food in the fridge, of course, everything gone. We found, I think, a bottle of red wine in the pantry and a can of sardines. And we sat out there underneath what was used to be the palapa, and we were just so happy to be home.
Yeah.
Eating those sardines and drinking
Having your red wine. I'm like, okay, this is what it is.
We got lots of years of experience with hurricanes here.
Yeah.
But Odile was a total, that was the most terrifying thing I've ever been through in my life.
What was it like going through Odile? You said it was the most terrifying thing you've ever been through.
Yeah,
What was
it
it like?
We did all the prep work we could, getting storm shutters, everything. We stockpiled, gas. You can only have so much on hand. Made sure our generator was working. Made sure we had no gas. Don't want to babysit somebody.
Right.
Airbnb gas. And we have these, our first floor where we lived in, the front was two big sliders, one for the bedroom and one coming off the living room and the kitchen. And we have the huge porch with the palapa. Nothing you can do about the palapa, it's going to go, it's going to go. But what we normally, every loose object on the ground is picked up, even hoses, because they can get going like whip and whack you. Any tools lying around.
It's going.
everything's going to get packed up, stowed away, tied down as much as possible. And we had a lot of experience doing that. And we had big steel shutters that closed over the sliders.
Okay.
So we just sort of, we barricaded, just locked ourselves in when it's, really started going. And then my wife says, you do not go out. Because I hear stuff and I want to go check.
Yeah.
My wife made a safe spot in the bathroom for us in case it got really, really scary. We knew that when the eye passed, it got very calm. And the next morning, the winds are, again. And once we knew it was really gone, we just opened up. We couldn't get out. We had a palm tree that had blown across, the shutters. We could open them, but it took a lot of work finally, so I was able to squeeze out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty skinny anyway, and get outside. And it was just like a bomb.
You didn't even recognize.
What was totally green was totally brown. Nothing left. There were things in my yard that didn't belong to me, and there were things that belonged to me that weren't in my yard. Yeah, pretty much everybody was in the same boat. I mean, we were lucky because because of being gringos, we had the ability to be prepared and stock up, and take anti-hurricane storm measures, whereas most of our neighbors did not have that. When we started cleaning up, it was like 99% humidity and 100 degrees out. No shade
And
at all.
mosquitoes, right?
And mosquitoes and no shade. And
Because all the trees are
they just
no shade.
They just nothing. I was out there with my big truck with 4-wheel drive with chains trying to move palm trees, with the saw cutting, and I heard something, and I turned around, and there's 5 guys with shovels and stuff, and they're all neighbors, and they all just pitched in and helped out. And then when we finished my yard, we got in my truck and we went up and we started working on everybody else's. So it was, people that you always speak to and say hello to, but you don't spend a lot of time with every day. Well, we're all working together.
And you're kind of family now because
yeah, exactly,
you
because
went
of
through
that traumatic experience that we went through. So that's when we decided we're not leaving.
Yeah, yeah.
We're just going to rebuild. This is our home.